from Shanghai to the world with a special edition here. My name is Janine Jakob. I'm your host, a founder of a consulting company called Full Potential Partners in Shanghai, and we are in lockdown. So instead of meeting amazing Sasha in person, I said to Sasha, "Hey Sasha, how about we have a conversation, and even if there's lockdown in Shanghai, thank goodness we can speak online." Sasha, what is your story?
Oh, wow. First of all, I just want to say, vielen Dank für die Einladung, Janine. Ich freue mich, hier zu sein. Wie geht's dir?
Danke schön. Dein Deutsch ist so
wow.
gut.
Dankeschön. Okay. Well, I guess we should probably switch to English. But yeah, what is my story? Let's see. Basically, I would say I realized one day that I was really bad at a corporate job. Not in the sense that I was unqualified or anything. I mean, my boss loved me. Uh, but it's just like I realized that I didn't really like the idea of being told what I should do with my time. I mean, I still don't like that idea. So I kind of just decided to go on a different route in life. So instead of playing the safe card that my parents would have wanted me to play, I decided to play the card that I wanted to play. So that's pretty much it. Here I am. Voila.
Amazing. Can you tell us a bit about like your origin, like where is home or where were you born?
Sure. So I was actually born in a city in China. It's called Ningbo. Now I am living in Shanghai. So that city is probably like 2 to 3 hours drive away from Shanghai. Have you ever been to Ningbo?
I
Do you know
have
that place?
not, but I dated a really cute Chinese man from Ningbo. He was a really good fit, and I heard
No
great
way.
things about Ningbo man. Is that right?
No way, Janine. I didn't know that. Oh, wow. That is amazing. When was it?
Last summer. So is it true that Ningbo men are a good fit?
Well, I mean, the best, I mean, my dad, he's from Ningbo, right? And I love my dad. So for that, I would say definitely, yeah. My dad is probably like one of the best husbands, best fathers, one of the best husbands, one of the best fathers, and one of the best role models in the world. So shout out to my dad. So yes.
Cheers to your dad with tea. Awesome. I actually like what you just mentioned earlier. You mentioned a safe card. So your parents wanted you to rather play a safe card. What would have been like the safe card life? What would it look like according to your parents that you have been rebelling against?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm glad you're asking me this because I feel like, especially if you're a girl, I guess, I mean, or I feel like it's not just like a China thing. It's probably also like a worldwide thing. Like all of those parents, they want the best for their kids, that's for sure. So by playing a safe card, I would say they just want their daughters, especially, to get a corporate job, to get paid, to get well paid, and like do not have to worry about like where to get money and this that, and also to marry someone who can support them financially, like mentally, and all of that. I guess that's what my definition of playing a safe card.
Mm. And what does your life look like nowadays? I heard you don't like if somebody tells you what to do. So what's your new life like?
Well, again, that's a great question, and I'm so excited that you asked me this question. But well, actually, like I said, it's not like I don't like being told what to do. I mean, I like being told like how I should work my muscle with my personal trainer. So it's not really like that. But it's more like I don't really like the idea of being told what I should do with my time, because I've
Mm.
realized that a time is something that a lot of people, I mean, people, they tend to value money way more than time, even though time is
Mm.
somehow, I feel like, if not more, it's one of the most important things that you should protect in your
Mm.
life. But people tend to like throw away their time or focus or energy as if it was nothing. But to me, I feel like time, energy, and also focus are something that are super, super important to me. So I don't really like the idea of being told what I should do with my time. So for instance, if I go to gym, that's because I choose to spend the time working my muscle in the gym, not because someone asked me or not someone like forced me to go to the gym and to work with my personal trainer. So yeah, I mean, like now I feel like I'm lucky enough to be able to finally, not finally, I've been doing that like for a while. So yeah, luckily now I've been able to actually um I able to like decide what I want to do with my time. So that definitely gives me more freedom to do the things or to focus on the things that I'm actually like passionate about. Yeah, so I feel really lucky and I feel like really grateful. So even now, like we're on lockdown, I mean, part of my freedom, just like everyone in Shanghai, part of the freedom has been like taken away. But still, I feel like now I am still like grateful and I'm still like lucky enough to be able to decide when I want to, work out, or when I want to, read, or when I want to like do this interview with someone that I trust, like you. So I feel like just for that part, I feel very lucky and very fortunate. Yeah, I feel like you can relate to that for sure.
Oh, yes, I totally do. And I mean, nowadays that we're in lockdown, I have to ask you this question. It's the number one question everybody asks. Do you
Yeah,
still have enough food and especially vegetables for the
that's a
next, who
really good
knows,
question.
week, month?
Yeah. Yeah, again, this is actually something that I would say it's kind of like a new revelation that I had in a couple of, I would say, in the past couple of days, which is that, nowadays with like lockdown and everything, everyone is fighting for vegetables, groceries every day. And a lot of people choose to, get into a lot of, like WeChat groups, with neighbors and everything. They do this like group purchase thing. And I
Mm.
realized that while it is somehow it is fun, it definitely helps you to be able to have the access to the groceries. One of the downsides that I have realized that it's super distracting. So for me,
Mm.
I really do not like it that much. So my strategy is that I'd rather pay a bit more to have someone to get my groceries like right away, instead of like getting distracted by all of those like WeChat messages, WeChat
Yeah.
notifications. So once again, that circles back to what I mentioned earlier, which is that I feel like a focus is something that's a lot more valuable to me in life than I would say just a little bit of money. Yeah, I feel like I can use that focus to create more value in the future. So
Mhm.
I'd rather to do that. But I also realize that a lot of people, they tend to give away their focus so easily. They feel like, I want to get the groceries. If I can get like the group purchase, I can somehow like save a little bit of money. And then most of people, they just kind of like go through their emotions every day, and at the end of the day, they don't know why they feel like so unhappy, unfulfilled, depressed even. And it's because basically they haven't done anything throughout their day. And I feel like also this is one of the things that lots of people, they tend to like get it wrong. Like lots of people,
Mhm.
they feel like, why am I so unhappy? They feel like, oh, I am unhappy, it's probably because like I don't have enough money, I don't have enough
Mm.
food, like for these
Yeah.
days. But the thing is, actually, when you really think about it, oftentimes the day that you feel the happiest, is a day that you feel like you didn't waste a lot of time that day. So that means
Mm.
that you did something for yourself, you did something for the future, you feel like a lot more fulfilled. So when you're fulfilled, you're gonna feel happy. You're gonna feel like the least happy, or yeah, you're gonna feel like the most unhappy, is when you just like pass a day doing nothing. So I feel like that's the realization I kind of like I had in the past few days. And I,
Mhm.
once again, I feel like extremely lucky that I somehow got this wonderful shifu. He helped me like deliver all my groceries and everything, and I'm more than happy to pay him a bit more than what's required. So
I'm
yeah.
so happy to see that first of all you have enough food, but also like how you seem to live every day, what your mindset is like. I also like when you mentioned didn't waste too much time, so at the end of the day you actually feel happy. That is interesting. Thanks for sharing. Now I'd love to talk a little bit about your job. So
Okay,
I
cool.
can't believe I'm talking to a real Chinese KOL right now. Like the KOL business or KOC business seems to be booming in China. And
True.
yay, I'm talking to a KOL. Amazing. Now, there's a lot of hype and trends about it, and you are one of them. And I even touched you before. You're a real person, I could say it. Tell me a bit more like, how did you become a KOL? Like, what's the story behind it? And maybe can you also share, like, how can other people, maybe our listeners, become a KOL themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so first of all, I just wanted to say this. I don't really like the term KOL, or let's just
Mm,
say, I feel like I've never thought of myself as a KOL because, in my understanding, KOL stands for key opinion leader, right? So I feel
mhm,
like, especially maybe it's in China, if you're a KOL, it's more like someone who gives opinions about a certain products, or to be more specific, other people's product. So I don't do that. I don't give opinions about other people's product. I give opinions about my own product. So basically, I have my own product. I designed it, I created it, and I'm proud of it because I know it works. So for me, I see myself more of influencer or even like entrepreneur. I mean just I'm just saying.
mm,
I feel like I see myself more in that category. But yes, part of it, I mean, KOL, yeah, everyone is KOL. Everyone can be in a KOL as long as you're starting your business like online, I guess. Somehow we're all KOL. But yeah, back to your question, how I started this, I would say just like everyone else. Actually, I feel like nowadays, if you are back at that time, back when I started out as an KOL, we didn't really have a lot of, like KOL information, or we didn't really have like coaches teach you how to be more fulfilled, how to feel happier like in life and this and that. We didn't really have a lot of access to social media either. But I would say back then, I guess I just like saw someone else doing it, and I was like,
mhm,
hmm, I could do that. Why not me? I have this mindset of like, why not me? Why him? Why
mm,
not me? So, but also mostly it was because also once again it circles back to what I mentioned earlier about how I hated having someone tell me like what I should do with my time. And I really hate it when every time I wanted to, for instance, like go travel, I had to freaking ask him for permission. And I hated that. I
mm,
cannot deal with that. I cannot put up with that. And I see someone doing it and I feel like, if I do that, I can actually have like a more freedom to, go travel or like do to be able to decide what I want to do with my time. So I kind of like try that out, and I and and then I realized that somehow some people, or actually a lot of people, they started liking the value that I put out there, and to the point
mm.
that they are actually willing to pay for the value that I can provide. And that is when I started
Congrats.
to realize, yeah, maybe I can give it a try. Maybe there is a way out there. Maybe there's a way that I can actually be able to decide what I want to do with my time. So that is how I get started. But just like, once again, just like everyone, like every, entrepreneur or whatever, you never know what you get yourself into, actually, especially in the
Mhm,
beginning. I didn't really know what I was doing, but you
mhm,
figured it out along the way. Also, I feel like that's a really important mindset for anyone out there who wanted to start this like entrepreneurial journey or be like a KOL. Yeah, just do it. You don't really know what you get yourself into, but you should know. Well, actually, I would like to share this really awesome quote that
please.
I read this morning. Actually, this morning I was rereading this amazing book called How I Built This by Guy Raz. Do you know him?
Okay. No, I've not heard of the book yet. Not yet.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. I highly recommend it. But basically, it's a book about an entrepreneurial journey. And then there was this quote I find extremely amazing, and I quote, "Failing is scary, but wasting your life is dangerous." You know,
Ooh,
and
that's deep.
yeah, I really like, I feel like this is one of the sentences that are truly like speaking to me. You know, a lot of people, they're afraid to get on this, you know, like a KOL journey, or they're so scared of the idea of, you know, quitting their stable job and getting on a journey that's like a completely different, like a completely that is the opposite of safety, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you think about it, what is the worst thing that could have happened to you? The worst thing
Mm.
is that you fail, probably. And I always know that if once you are hired, right, and that means that you are somehow qualified for a certain kind of job, and you are going to get hired in the future, and you are somehow still going to get hired, and even let's say that you are not getting hired in a certain amount of time, and you could always like go back to live with your parents or anything or something like that. I mean, your parents, they raised you from age 1 to
Mhm.
what, like when you were 20, I guess, in China. So back then,
Yeah.
you weren't able to contribute anything to the family, but your parents still somehow made sure that you didn't starve yourself. They made sure that you had a bed to sleep in every night. So you always know that you have your parents to go back to. Okay. Or at least have a little, you know, cushion time. So that is the worst thing that could ever happen to you, the worst scenario. So once you figure that out, once you know that you might not know what you get yourself into starting out as this like entrepreneur or like a KOL, but as long as you know that where is the place that you can go back to, then you're all good. So
Hmm.
just do it. That I would
I
say would be
really
my number one tip.
cool. Thank you so much for sharing this tip already. And this is super motivational, I think, for all of us. As you mentioned earlier, again, like with don't waste your time and why not me? I love it. How you said, like, why not me, right?
Yeah,
And also, what's the worst thing that can happen if we just like try it out and we can learn from that?
exactly.
Um, Now, what exactly is the product that you have created now as an entrepreneur and influencer that you sell or promote through your channels? And I think on Xiaohongshu now I'm following you. You have nearly 300,000 followers. I also know you're on TikTok. So yeah, tell us about the product.
The product, okay, I design is mainly focused on like helping people to learn English in a more non-traditional way, or the way that I put it is like in a more effective way. Because you know, like it's once again, I feel like it's not like a China thing or a Chinese thing. It's more like a worldwide thing. Everyone, as long as you know, you go to school, you somehow you need to learn a foreign language, right? But lots of people, they struggle with the foreign language. It's because in school oftentimes teachers, they tend to, you know, teach students like what to learn but not like how to learn it. So everyone,
Mm.
you know, they get out of school kind of feel like they know how to speak English, or I don't know, maybe in Europe, you guys needed to learn like, you needed to take like French or something like that. I know, Jenny, you speak multiple languages, but I mean, I'm sure like
Like
back then
you.
when you were in school, probably everyone, they we don't know why we learn this, right? And we kind of just do it for the sake of, you
Mhm.
know, passing the exams and stuff like that. We didn't really know why we're doing it, and but also it's because our teachers in school, they never they never tell us, or they never teach us like how you should learn it. It's more like, hey,
Mm.
remember this word, remember this sentence. We're going to do a test tomorrow. So make sure that you pass the test. But they never tell us like how we can like pass a test, how we can
Yeah.
actually be able to you know, use this language as a tool, like how we get there. They never tell us. They just like give us a bunch of stuff. Hey, like remember those, and that's it. Then that is why like lots of people, they end up kind of like in they end up being stuck in this, like I call it dead zone, where they somehow know this word but they can never actually use it. They can never actually speak English, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
they write perfect emails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my product is to actually help people get out of that dead zone, because I give people very detailed instruction, to tell them like what you should do,
Mm-hmm.
and how you should do it, in order to get that language goal that you've always wanted. Because I mean, I taught myself French and German. So I
Uh-huh.
feel like, yeah, I also like, I kind of like, I figured out this structure, how you can make it like a lot more fun, but also like a lot more effective. So that is mainly my product.
Great. Thanks for inspiring us. And it's really about the how to learn, as you said.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Now, I would like to know a bit more like, there's a lot of topics that people don't want to talk about. And I know like you get a lot of insights to your like to your followers and the topics that they are interested in. And
Mhm.
what are some taboo topics that you think are important that your target group or here in China or your followers that we actually should talk about or learn about, but people are somehow afraid of it or just not doing it or not yet?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a taboo topic, but I would say it's something that people should definitely start talking about more, or at least they should start being like a more aware of the importance of it. And a big part of it, I would say, is the mental health.
Mhm.
So like a lot of people, they tend to like bottle up all of their feelings, especially I would say like for guys, they grew up
Mm.
being taught that it is not okay for a guy to cry, to share their feelings and this and that. And then they feel like if I tell people how I truly feel, that makes me weak. And for girls also. So lots of
Yeah.
people, they tend to like bottle up their feelings. They tend to, and also I feel like the big problem is that they feel like there's nothing I can do. This is how I
Mm.
feel depressed, I feel sad, but there's nothing I can do. While there's some truth in that, I feel like you should also know that it's kind of like your body. We cannot control how we look like when we are
Yeah.
born, but there's a lot we can do in determining how we want our body to look like in the future. This is the
Mm.
same thing that goes to your mentality, to your mental health. While you might not be in an okay place, but there's actually a lot you can do to help you get into a better mental space. And this is really
Mhm.
just like a muscle, but I feel like because there's somehow a lack of education on that, and the people, they kind of like they're used to it. They get into this like really numbness, right? Right? Like they feel like, okay, it's okay. Yeah, yeah, you have to like work every day. It's okay that you feel sad, you feel depressed, you feel unhappy. But it's not that there's not a method like for you to cope with that problem. It's because that you are not really looking for it, because you're going to find what you're looking for. This is also like one of the quotes or the things that I live by. So
Mhm.
yeah, like if you want to have a better answer, you better have a better question, right? Lots of people, they aren't really thinking about it, and they feel like this is just how it is, but no, it's not. If you start looking for it, you're going to find the answer. So I feel like this is something that people should definitely start talking about more: mental health.
So let's start talking more about mental health. Let's start proactively looking for it because we're going to find an answer and then there is a solution as well. Thanks for sharing this. And
You're
I'm
welcome.
wondering, like, do you
Uh-huh.
have something like a purpose in life or like a dream that you're working towards?
Yeah. This is actually something, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like I would say this is something I've never really told anyone. I mean, I feel like
Ooh,
deep down I feel like I'm very lucky, or I'm very grateful that I know what my purpose is in life. And I'm not going to tell people how old I am, but let's just say I spent a lot of years trying to figure that out. And I'm glad that I finally figured that out. So I do have a purpose in life, and everything I do or I am doing right now, is because of that. So my purpose is that I just wanted to be the best wife in the world. That's it. So everything I do is because I wanted to fulfill that purpose, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's just say that I feel like because I wanted to be the perfect wife, right? And in order
Yeah.
to find someone that I want to be the perfect wife for, I have to be someone that can attract that kind of person. And I have an idea of what kind of man that I want to marry, what kind of best husband that I want to have. So I just have to work myself way up to the kind of person that attracts that kind of best husband. And yeah, I would say like everything I do, it's the biggest motivation behind everything. It's the biggest drive behind everything, because I just wanted to have a beautiful family, the best husband in the world, and every day, I can I can welcome him home and I can make him breakfast, even though I'm bad at cooking. I can have him, kiss me goodbye every day when he leaves the house. Um, yeah, I love taking care of people, especially someone that I deeply care about. Actually, it gets me really emotional. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like picturing it as I was saying it out loud. But yeah, I guess like everything I do is kind of like revolving around that or because of that.
Thank you so much for sharing this and letting us like so deep into your emotions and your dream. And I'm pretty sure you will find the right husband. I think you're already such a great personality. You've
Thank
worked so much
you.
on you. I hope he's waiting right in front of your door, waiting for the lockdown and the gate to reopen to come towards you. Um,
Thank you.
one of the last questions I have, like, why did you choose Shanghai?
Why did I choose Shanghai? Well, to be honest, I didn't choose Shanghai. It was really more like, my parents said that, hey, you should go to Shanghai because like Shanghai is like the best city in China. And I was like, okay, let's go to Shanghai. That was it. But then later on, I have to say that I am really grateful that my parents somehow made this decision for me, because I have to say that Shanghai is the place where I went from the girl to a woman. So to that, I feel like it definitely has played a huge role in my life. Yeah, I really appreciate the fact that I got to be here. I got to come here, and I'm here. I'm living here. So yeah.
And that actually brings me back to the question, which I'm not going to ask now because you're not going to answer it. I've always been wondering, what is Sasha's age? Because for like good Chinese genes, it could be like maybe Sasha is 21 and she's younger than me. But with so much experience that she has, who knows? Maybe she's even 50. And I wouldn't even know because like the Chinese genes are just so good. So I'm not gonna ask you. Maybe one day in our future relationship of working together and being friends, maybe one day you will tell me.
Hey, we're friends. Come on, ask me how young I am, and I'll tell you.
Oh, so I'm. Why did I ask the wrong question? So, Sasha, tell us your secret. How young are you?
Okay, I'll be 34 this September. So
Oh, you're
yeah.
still so young. I literally thought
Hi.
like she would be like super, super mature, but you just wouldn't know. Okay, that's soon.
What
Great.
about you? No, it's not fair if I told you didn't tell me.
I would turn 30 this summer on July 7th.
Well, you said 30?
Yes. So I'm
Oh,
29 now.
what? We need to restart our friendship. We need to restart our question right there. Okay, that one didn't count. What? What? I am so dead now.
I mean,
What a
due to the
surprise.
lockdown, we did not really have a chance to really meet for a lot of coffees, teas, meals
Yeah.
together. I mean, in China, you bond over meals, right?
Yeah. Yeah, or coffee. I mean, like for me, it's really, I mean, also this is one of those things that I have learned in the past few years. I feel like the thing that I am, like one of the things that I am most proud of myself is that I am fully aware that every year I grow up a little bit. Like at the end of the
Mm.
year, if you ask me this question, for all of those years that you have lived, which year is your favorite? I would always say like this year, because this year I feel like I have like grown even more.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know about you, but like this is one of those questions I like to ask my friends. It's like, hey, like which year do you feel like is your favorite year? Like for me, the answer is always like this year. So again, I was saying that this is also like one of the things that I have learned in the past few years, where it's like, you know what was the where was I? Oh my gosh. I told
About
like a lot.
the
Oh
year
no, yeah. So
and
okay, so
age.
I would say when I was in my 20s, okay, when I was in my 20s, when I was still like uh when I was still like looking for the purpose in my life, etc. I back then I didn't really want to be like the best wife. I didn't even want to, get married and stuff like that. But that's another story. But I back then, I was always like more focused on, I just wanted to go to a fancy place, right? If we were to meet and we have to go to a fancy restaurant, we have to like talk over meals and this and that. And so if a guy asked me out on a date, if he just wanted to meet up at, at a coffee shop, I would probably be like, no, we're not going to do that. We have to go to a fancy place. But nowadays, or like in the past few years, I've learned that, um, the true connection between two people are way more valuable than a fancy restaurant, right? So I would
Mhm.
rather, we just sit down in a park and then like a truly like a bond with each other. That's something that values more to me, like way more to a, like a fancy restaurant. Like I don't even care if you got me a like $500 bottle of wine or something. Like I don't care. I care like who you are. I am talking to you as a person, not like how much money that you have in your pocket. You know what I mean? So yeah, it doesn't. I was just trying to tell you, like, even though you might heard that Chinese people they love to bond over meals, but like for me, it's more like we need to bond over who we really are. That's something that interests me way more than a meal.
I love it what you just said. We need to bond over who we are. Thanks for sharing this. I think we should have a picnic. The weather is so beautiful outside. So once
Ah,
we're out of lockdown, let's have a picnic instead of a
absolutely.
coffee or so. And you just mentioned a lot of like really good tips, advice. And what are the last sharings you now would like to give to our listeners?
Yeah, I guess I do have one, and that is someone that I have learned in the past few years, so which is that if you want to, start your own channel on social media, say in China. I mean, personally, I've only done Xiaohongshu and Douyin. So for those like two platforms, they do have a slight difference, I would say. Just be aware of that. But if you're talented, if you got value to provide, it doesn't matter which platform that you choose as long as you start doing it. But I would say there's a slight difference between posting stuff on Xiaohongshu and posting stuff on Douyin, and that is you
Mhm.
should be aware. I feel like Xiaohongshu is really more like a Pinterest with the video feature,
Mhm.
in China. So that means when people go on Xiaohongshu, they somehow have a purpose. Okay, so they go on there, either they wanted to look for a dinner idea, or they want to look for some kind of like inspiration for their date look or something like that. So they somehow have a purpose. But for Douyin, people go on Douyin without having any kind of purpose. They are not going to go on Douyin and be like, hey, I want to look for some dinner ideas. No, they're more like, hey, it's the end of the day. I'm so freaking tired from the work. I just wanted to relax. Now let's see what's on Douyin. Okay, it's just fucking, oh sorry, just freaking entertain me, So that means yeah, so that means if you go on some place without any purpose, people aren't unnecessarily there to look for value. But Xiaohongshu,
Mhm.
I would say it's somehow more value based. So when you post the stuff on Xiaohongshu, you should probably like just like I would say like a focus more on the value side, while on Douyin you should probably like focus more on the entertaining part. I'll give you an example. Let's just say someone post a picture or a video with a girl in it who looks, beautiful, who's got a great body, who is smart, and who's just like quote unquote the perfect girl. But if
Yeah.
someone sees that on Xiaohongshu, they're more likely to go, I want to be like her. But if someone sees that on Douyin, they'd be like, nice picture or nice legs. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So I would say like this is probably like the big difference between Xiaohongshu and Douyin, and that's also something that I have learned in the past few years. I hope that's
Wow.
helpful.
Thanks for sharing those tips with us.
No
Thanks for your
problem.
time during your busy day, because lockdown for you still means working. It's a normal day, a home office day for you. Thanks for your time, Sasha. We stay in touch. And don't
Absolutely.
forget, we have a picnic date
You
for
got it.
like in a few weeks. Good luck
Yeah.
on growing your channels and fulfilling your dream and finding this amazing man.
Thank
And I hope
you.
you have a beautiful sunny day.
Thank you. You too, Jenny. Thank you so much for having me. I hope that we'll talk soon. Absolutely.
For sure. Thank you, Sasha. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.